to order the regular council meeting of Wednesday, March 26, 2025. Councillor Johnson will be with us. His appointment might be a few minutes late. Moving on to our land acknowledgement, I'd like to start our meeting by acknowledging that we are gathered on the Treaty 8 First Nations territory, the long-standing presence of the elders and the ancestors of Treaty 8. Through this acknowledgement, we extend our respect to the BC Treaty 8 First Nations and all those who call the Peace Country home. Moving on to item number 3, adoption of agenda. Recommendation that council adopts the March 26, 2025 council meeting agenda as presented, seconded by Councillor Wall. Thank you. Discussion regarding tonight's agenda? Okay. All those in favor? And that is carried.
In favor.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, 4.1 adoption of agenda. Recommendation that council adopts the February 26, 2025 regular council meeting minutes. Sorry, not adoption of agenda, adoption of minutes. I get a seconder on adoption of those minutes. Seconded by Councillor Rabble. Thank you. Any discussion regarding the minutes?
In your worship, we do have an introduction of one late item, just concerning, I believe it's climate action funding support letter from the Peace River Regional District. That was an item on March 12th. We'll do a follow-up on
Do we make that 10.4? Okay. Any comment or question regarding the minutes? I'm going to call the question then. All those in favor?
In favor.
And that is carried. Introduction of late items. We're going to be introducing 10.4, which is the Union of BC Municipalities Disaster Risk Reduction Climate Action Funding. So that will be added as item 10.4 under correspondence. Can I get a seconder on that? Thank you, Councillor Rabble. Any discussion? All those in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay. Done. Public hearings, none. Delegations. Now, none of them are here. Should we wait a little bit longer and come back to that one?
We can do that. Just delay the items.
Yeah.
I move to delay the item until the fire department conducts.
Okay, perfect. So we'll skip over to, somebody's here. Deep lean.
I heard the door
I
bang.
did hear the door.
Oh, it looks like we do have a few of our delegates arriving now.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll just kindly wait a few minutes. We'll give them a mo.
Looks like it's Councillor Johnson.
Hello, is there a whole troop of men behind you by chance?
And there's one fireman at the door.
There's one fireman at the door. There should be about, what, 8 of them?
I believe 6.
7. We were in
right in between the
right in between us,
right
yeah.
in between the over under.
We're just at our delegation, which is going to be our firefighters.
Okay.
So, but what we'll do is we'll actually vary it, and yeah, we'll just move on to unfinished business. We'll move on to item number 8. Can I get a seconder on varying the agenda to move on to item number 8? Seconded by Councillor Wall. Thank you. Any discussion regarding varying the agenda? Yes, Councillor Rattle.
We'll simply place it when it comes up when convenient, and we'll finish off whatever item we're dealing with, and then
move into
resume.
that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to call the question on varying it. All those in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to pop over to item number 8, unfinished business and business arising from the minutes. Recommendation that council directs administration award the zoning review and update contract to Urban Systems LTD. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Johnson. Thank you. Discussion? Councillor Rabble?
My understanding is that this regards the zoning updates from Bill 44, which was introduced, I think, in 2022. Anyways, in regards to Bill 44, there are a couple of simple things that are just regarding residential zoning and density and allowing, depending on lot size, either there be a secondary unit or backyard unit. If it's a medium-sized lot, then it can have 3 units and whatnot. The question I'm asking are we able to do this in-house? What's the reason for contracting it externally? How will this be funded?
Or do you?
Yep. Respectfully, Councillor, it is funded through the funding that's been allocated from the province regarding OCP amendment and zoning changes outlined in Bill 44 as aforementioned. Predominantly, the reason why we're looking for external support on this is lack of internal resources that are applicable to that. Realistically, the majority of that project lead would fall under my office and oversight, and with budget season, as well as a litany of bylaw reviews that are required for the upcoming year, we wouldn't have the operational capacity to take it on.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Wong?
This would be funded completely through external funding.
Third-party funding, yes.
Okay. So no taxpayer dollars are going into this.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to call the question then. All those in favor?
In favor.
All those opposed?
Opposed?
Would you like your opposed noted?
Yes, please.
Okay, as well. Thank you, and that is carried. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to jump back to our delegation. Gentlemen, are you all out there? No?
I'll welcome them.
Is that what you are? Okay, do you want us to kind of keep going and wait until everybody's here, and then when you're all here, do you mind coming in? That'd be wonderful. Okay, thanks guys. We're just kind of varying things to make it work. So. All right, we're going to move on to 8.2, corporate communications policy, recommendation that council review the two options presented for amendments to the corporate communications policy and proceed with adopting one of the options as presented, or the council may defer this matter. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Johnston, thank you. Discussion? Councillor Rao?
This corporate communication policy appears to be similar to a policy that was presented in a previous council meeting that did fail. Is this policy being presented is this substantially different than the previous policy that failed? Why is this being reintroduced if it is not substantially different?
So there are two options. So the policy originally failed, and then I actually brought it back on due to the fact we do need a corporate communications policy. And at that point in time, I felt that it was urgent that we sort of come up with a bit of a solution. That was then brought back to the floor. Discussion happened amongst council, and then the two options were presented. Sadly, neither of you gentlemen were able to attend that meeting, as you were both away with notice. And so what council decided to do is to take your concerns into consideration as well as the original written policy, and then provide both options for council to decide which you would like to see. Yes, Councillor Rao.
Although I understand the need for consistent messaging and that public perception is the people holding the role at all times in certain amounts are representing that role. If I'm correct in that understanding, therefore the people in these positions shall be, putting the best foot forward. However, the main concern that myself and the member opposite presented was that there could be potential limitations on...
Could you speak directly onto the number that you're concerned about? Sorry, just for those who are watching.
Okay, well, it'd be 3.2 council members. I do see that it is slightly different, and
yes.
I wasn't a part of the discussions at the previous COW meeting, which is what I'm assuming you're referring to. Therefore, what protections and or changes in wording still allow for, in any healthy democratic process, the expression of opinions of any member of this body to engage in civil discourse and not be chastised or punished for making such expressions or engaging in civil discourse.
So at no time does this block civil discourse. This is only a corporate communication policy when it comes to the news, the media, and putting out overarching messages on behalf of the village of Poughkeepsie. This in no way would stop members of council from delegating during council meetings or expressing their opinions. I'm just comparing the two, just so I have them for sure. And the first one, it says the mayor is designated spokesperson for council decisions and municipal policy. The individual council should not represent the official position of the village unless authorized. And then the second one, it was the first line that you had added, is that correct?
We actually added a addition to the first bullet point, the second bullet point, and the third bullet point is completely reformatted in a new portion of the document.
Okay, perfect. Councillor Wall, thank you for bringing that.
Oh, no worries. I do appreciate the change in wording under number 3.2 here, and this is something that I believe is very important because there could be issues that arise at one point where, I'm knock on wood for that, but where there is some sort of media relations where members do not agree or things like that, where this still allows them to speak.
Absolutely.
It's just not on behalf of the village, which is totally acceptable. The mayor is the spokesperson for the village. So I agree with what this policy says now. I did not agree with option 1, but as option
2.
With option 2, I think it meets my expectations, for sure.
Thank you, Councillor. I appreciate that feedback.
I think you've done a wonderful job. I'm totally fine with the second option. I really like your wording in there. It's kind of to the point now that it doesn't mucky the waters or gray area or there's no liability issues or no.
Ultimately, the teeth of the document are the same.
The
But
same,
we
yeah.
still took into credence the feedback shared by respective councillors that had concerns regarding the longevity as well as the consideration towards discourse and public speech.
Okay. I think it's very, very well worded, actually.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Point 2 is very, very, very well. Okay, and so really it is the decision of this council. So there's 2 different options. Staff would definitely like to see this council choose one of those options and proceed forward with it. And so I'm not sure if there's a specific option you'd like to choose. Would you like to put a motion on the floor for the option that you prefer?
I prefer option number 2.
Okay, would you like to make that motion?
I want to make sure this is option number 2,
Which is
before
Correct, Councillor.
making sure what order it's in here.
That's an important distinction.
Yeah. I would like to proceed with the option that has 3 bullet points under number 3.2.
Nice and simple.
Yeah,
I
there you
appreciate
go.
that.
Can I get a
simplification.
seconder regarding that motion that's on the floor? Seconded by Councillor Johnston. Any discussion regarding the motion on the floor?
Sorry, I'm seeing 2 on this currently presented policy. What's the third bullet point?
You're on the wrong one. You're on option number 1. You keep flipping, and then this is option, so keep option number 2, and then it's right.
This guy.
This guy.
I couldn't see.
I was confused by that.
I was confused what order they were
I thought
in.
you said option 2, which is defer to a Cal meeting.
No.
That's my understanding.
No,
of what
no,
you're
no,
speaking about.
No, we're looking. Choose an option.
Should I make my motion more specific?
I think it's specific. I
No,
think.
it's specific.
Yeah, I think Mr. Sabalski gets what you're laying down.
I do have a question about this.
Yes, of course.
So my question regarding this is, let's say there's a counselor that is engaging with the media, and they don't necessarily say the exact sentence that's in here, and they just say, hey, in my opinion, whatever. Would that still meet?
That would suffice.
That would suffice?
That would suffice. As long as we have that outlier or that express statement that this counselor is not representing the official opinion of the public body, if it is a controversial or different opinion that is of the public body.
Of course.
Does that make sense the way I explained
Yes.
it? Okay.
I have a second question.
Yes, please.
Relating to my first question.
Yes.
Which is, we don't control the media in any way, shape, or form. So, hypothetical situation, if the media were to snip and there's just a 2
Parse
second,
it?
and then you get a 2-second soundbite, would the policy, if that person still said, in my opinion, whatever, and then you talk for 30 seconds and they take 2 seconds of it, which happens quite often,
Yep.
would the policy still cover and protect that?
Yeah, it would cover all journalistic editing and partisan practices. All journalists do have to keep notes of any interview that
Yeah,
is
your
required.
conversations are often recorded.
Yes. So that would be the backup or redundancy in this situation. So if the context or personal expression statement of the respective public official was parsed or edited out of the actual media release, we would have the redundancies to deal with that.
In the modern age, attention spans are very short, and sometimes they're, 30 seconds or 5 seconds, and that's all you see. So I just want to make sure that that's covered. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that, Councillor. Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Rapp.
It seems like this awkward trade-off where essentially if you preface it with "it's my opinion," then your opinion is protected in speech. So it's kind of this odd trade-off. I understand the purpose and intent and goal of such a communication policy at a corporate level is to ensure that communication is consistent and clear, and that people don't mistakenly interpret it as the official position of the village. But then on the other hand is we have to be able to discuss openly. Obviously on municipalities of a larger scale, they constantly and frequently are in conversations about this and that and a variety of different topics constantly. It's just to ensure that we protect that views can be expressed and exchanges can happen and that those aren't penalized or even subject to the fear of persecution, right? And this leads back into the code of conduct and other conversations. My concern around option 2 is I do understand how it is presented to say individual councillors must preface their statements with that suggested, disclaimer. If the wording of such a disclaimer, say you're in a rush, say you're just, catching a word on the street kind of situation, the worry is that a person might accidentally state it, state something and then they're in a rush, right? People come out of the blue. They may identify themselves, but my worry is that in future this could be. I understand the suggestion of the disclaimer. It's just, and I don't mean to get so nitpicky. It's just it could be interpreted as they're compelled to state this specific thing, whereas it is much to be read as a suggestion. I don't know. I'm more in favor of option 1. I'll be clear.
Option 1.
Yes. Yeah, just strike the opinion piece. But I get it. I get where it's coming from. I guess we have to strike a balance. My ideal scenario would be enshrining protections for the expression of views, but I understand that could present itself as a liability for the corporation, even though that is essential for democratic process. So that's where I stand.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of proceeding to adopt option number 2? All those in favor?
In favor.
All those opposed?
Opposed?
Would you like your opposed noted?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. All right. Do you think they're all here? Do they look like they're all here?
I think they're all there. All ready?
All right. You guys all out there? Thumbs up. All right. Okay.
Jeez.
Come on in. Matt, if you just want to welcome them and maybe set them up somewhere, that would be wonderful. Or Mr. Swami, thank you so much.
You guys see Scott? See you guys.
With
Get hot around here.
8.2.
Hi, Doctor.
Yeah. Come on in. Thank you very much. So just so there's no weird, awkward, you don't know where you're going and I don't know where I'm going, we're all going to kind of go through it real quick. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read the purpose of this evening's delegation. And then I'd like to read out the names, first and last, of those who are receiving recognition and time served. Are you comfortable with that?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. If I mess up your name, there's only one in there that I have a hard time saying, and that's yours, Scott. Help a girl out, okay?
Love, friend.
Perfect, you're awesome. Okay, awesome. Well, the purpose for this evening's delegation is to recognize and honor the members of the Pouce Coupe Volunteer Fire Department for their years of dedicated service to our community. So thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. Many of you have served quite a while, actually. That's phenomenal. And so the Village of Pouce Coupe acknowledges your commitment and your contributions to the volunteer fire department here in Pouce Coupe, and that you have reached a significant service milestone, and that your dedication ensures the safety and the well-being of all those within our community. So thank you each and for your sacrifice and for your guys' hard work. And hopefully you are as happy with us as we are with you, and you guys are doing an awesome job. So thank you so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up, and then I'd like to have you come on to the camera so people can put a face to my name. I know I'm really mean. So you're going to come up, you shake my hand, and then you can scoot off. You ready? really want, or you can stand up there and look pretty, like, it's really up to you. Scott's
That's a
gonna,
big task.
Scott's gonna dance. Okay, all right, so you're gonna have to think thin. You ready to think thin? You have to like step in so you don't get ran
Should I get
over.
out of the way? I'll go to the others.
There we go. We'll scoocheroo for like 2 seconds.
I'll just sit over here.
I'm gonna scoot down here. There we go. So you're used to commanding a classroom when. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with Luke Barrett, who has served 5 years of service for the Poughkeepsie Volunteer Fire Department.
I'm sorry.
Huh? Josh, I know, I was like, I don't see him here. I was just thinking that. He sadly is not here, but thank you very, very much to Luke for all of his hard work. Ryan Kirkham, thank you so much. You've served 5 years. Thank you. Reed Klein Patterson, we're serving 10 years. James Frank, serving 10 years. Thank you so much. Derek Garuda, we're serving 10 years. Chad DeVoe, sadly, is not here either. He served 10 years, so thank you so much to Chad. And Scott LaFriend, I did it! We're serving 10 years. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. It is such an absolute honor. You know, I could stand here and shake your guys' hand, but you guys do all the work constantly. So thank you. This is really aging some of you, though. I have to say, 10 years. Wow, 15 for, well, he looks like it's 15. Awesome. So thank you guys so much. If you'd like, do you want to get like a
Group photo.
group photo would be
That'll be public office and all of our service.
perfect. Are we going to drive Colleen insane and call a quick break? We are going to drive Colleen insane. Okay, so we're going to call a quick 5-minute break so you can get a group photo, and then, yes, you have a question?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, sure.
I'll make the motion to hold a 5-minute recess.
Okay, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
There you go. We'll just put the TV screen here, and like Marcel can put his face in the background like a weirdo.